Hey guys, so I found out that you guys are being instructed to read A Midsummer Night's Dream, Shakespeare, and I don't know, I've never read it, so I thought, why not give it a shot and see how I like it? And I thought, well, if you're being required to read, I don't know, 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, whatever, maybe I should be doing the same. And I got my own stuff to read for fun, but I bet this would be fun too. So what I did was I found a translator, and it's weird to have something that's in English translated into English, but that's what I did. I found a pretty sweet website that has all the acts and scenes with the original text and then a more modern day translation. So, without further ado, I'm going to start A Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 1, Scene 1, and feel free to follow along. Okay. Theseus and Hippolyta enter along with the Philostrate and others. And here's a little disclaimer. I am going to make mispronunciations. I might read the entire play and say someone's name completely incorrectly, and you can make fun of me forever later. But I'm just going to read it as is, and we'll just have to get past that when you let me know how to correctly say something. And so I'm going to go back and forth between the original and the new text and just sort of try to immerse myself in the text. Okay, so here we go. Theseus. Oh, by the way, I got little pictures here. Okay, let me get Theseus out. All right, so right now we're listening to Theseus, the Duke of Athens. Now, fair Hippolyta, our nuptial hour draws on apace. For happy days bring in another moon. But oh, methinks how slow this old moon wanes. She lingers my desires, like to a step-dame or a dowager, long withering out a young man's revenue. And in modern terms, now beautiful Hippolyta, the hour of our wedding is speeding closer. In 4 joyful days there will be a new crescent moon, and we will marry. But oh, the old moon seems to me to shrink away so slowly, it delays me from getting what I desire, just like an old rich widow will force her stepson to wait forever to receive his inheritance. Okay, I guess he's eager. He's happy they're getting married. Then in comes Hippolyta, and I hope I'm saying her name right. 4 days will quickly steep themselves in night, 4 nights will quickly dream away the time, and the moon will take and the moon, like to a silver bow, new bent in heaven, shall behold the night of our solemnities. 4 days will quickly pass and turn to night, and each night we will dream away the time, and soon the moon, like a silver bow newly bent into a curve in the sky, will look down on the night of our wedding celebration. So they both seem pretty happy about what's going on. They're anxious. They can't wait for the next 4 days to pass. And they both got their own colorful ways of describing, how the moon is going to be shrinking into a crescent, and that's when they're due to be married. Back to Theseus. Go, Philostrate, stir up the Athenian youth to merriments. Awake the pert and nimble spirit of mirth. Turn melancholy forth to funerals. The pale companion is not for our pomp. Go, Philostrate, get the young people of Athens in the mood to celebrate. Wake up the lively and swift spirit of fun. Send sadness out to funerals. That pale emotion has no place in our festivities. Okay, so apparently the Duke of Athens gets to boss somebody around. I don't have an image for the Philostrate, but apparently he's the guy that's the organizer of parties. Well, Phil, the organizer of parties. Hippolyta, I wooed thee with my sword and won thy love, doing thee injuries. But I will lead thee in another key, with pomp and triumph and with revelling. Hippolyta, I wooed you by fighting against you, and won your love by injuring you. But I will marry you in a different way, with splendid ceremonies, public festivities, and celebration. Okay, hang on. Okay, so Theseus here just told us that the way he got her to love him is by injuring her and fighting her. That's how he got her to love him. And now that they're going to get married, he's going to just turn around and just have parties and festivities and celebration. Okay. So that's the plan. Then we have a new character coming in, Eugeus. Here he is. This is the father of Hermia, who we have not seen yet. Eugeus says, "Happy be Theseus, our renowned duke. Joy to you, Theseus, our famous and distinguished duke." Ah, well, he's speaking very politely. Eugeus enters with his daughter Hermia, along with Lysander and Demetrius. Okay, so hang on. So we hear Eugeus call out these wonderful things. So, hey, Theseus, what's up, buddy? That sort of thing. And along with him comes in... Let me just show you the cast. I'm going to throw out the text here for a second. So in comes... So that's Eugeus, the father of Hermia. And then we get her on screen. So here's Hermia. Okay, let me cascade these a little bit better. Alright, so we've got Eugeus, who's the father of Hermia. So we got them. And then along with them comes in Lysander. Where are you, Lysander? Here we are. Get in there. Who loves Hermia, good for him. And Demetrius. There they are. Okay, so apparently... Oh, we got a bit of a triangle here. Okay. So, I'm sort of tipping the hat here with these images. But, okay, so Eugeus walks in with his daughter Hermia. Like, hey, what's up, Theseus? Talking to the Duke who's been talking this whole time. And in come these two guys with them. Now, Lysander loves Hermia. However, Demetrius is the suitor of Hermia. So, something's going to have to happen there. But these four people just joined the scene. Okay, take a break, guys. Come on out. Back to Theseus. Thank you, dear Eugeus. I'm sorry, thanks, good Eugeus. What's the news with thee? Thank you, dear Eugeus. What's going on with you? I think I'm going to start saying thee, if I can. Okay, and then Eugeus gets a big speech. Okay, so Eugeus just said, hey, what's up, good buddy? And he comes in with his group of friends. Full of vexation, come I with complaint against my child, my daughter Hermia. Stand forth, Demetrius, my noble lord. This man hath my consent to marry her. Send forth Lysander, and my gracious duke. This man hath bewitched the blossom of my child. Thou, Lysander, thou hast given her rhymes and interchanged love tokens with my child. Thou hast by moonlight at her window sung with feigning voice verses of feigning love, and stolen the impression of her fantasy. With bracelets of thy hair, rings, gauds, conceits, knacks, trifles, nosegays, sweetmeats, messengers of strong prevailment in unhardened youth. With cunning hast thou filched my daughter's heart, turned her obedience, which is due to me, to stubborn harshness, and my gracious duke. Be it so, she will not here before your grace consent to marry Demetrius. I beg the ancient privileges of Athens. As she is mine, I may dispose of her, which shall be either to this gentleman or to death, according to our law immediately provided in that case. Okay, I think I understood what he's saying, but just to make sure, we're going to read the updated version. Okay, so Eugeus here said, hey, Theseus, came in with all these people, and here's what he says. I've come to you full of anger to protest against the actions of my daughter Hermia. Step forward, Demetrius. Okay, hang on. I want to bring these people on stage now. Wait, go back. Alright, so here's Hermia. So that's his daughter. Okay. Step forward, and then he calls for Demetrius to come forward. So here's Demetrius. And when it says suitor, you can just take that to mean they're engaged, I guess. Step forward, Demetrius, my noble lord Theseus. This man, Demetrius, has my blessing to marry her. Okay, so these two are supposed to get married. That's the plan. Step forward, Lysander. And then in comes this guy. I'm gonna have to share some screen space. Okay. So we got Hermia, who is Eugeius' daughter, Demetrius, who's the guy she's supposed to marry, and Lysander, the dude that I think he's been flirting with her. Let's see. Step forward, Lysander, yet my gracious duke, this man, Lysander, has put a spell on my daughter's heart. You, Lysander, you have given her poems and in exchanged tokens of love with my daughter. You've come beneath her window in the moonlight and pretended to love her with your fake love songs, and you've stolen her fancy by giving her locks of your hair, rings, toys, trinkets, knickknacks, little presents, flowers, and candies, all of which will powerfully influence an innocent child. You've sneaked and schemed to steal my daughter's heart, transforming the obedience which she owes me into harsh stubbornness. My gracious duke, if Hermia, standing here in front of you, won't agree to marry Demetrius, then I demand my traditional rights as a father in Athens. Since she belongs to me, I can do what I want with her, as the law expressly states for just such a case as this. Either she marries Demetrius or she dies. Wow. This is the opening scene, folks. That's how you get people to come watch a play. Within 2 minutes, we meet a half a dozen characters, and immediately one father is like, you know what, woman? You're my daughter, you're mine, you're going to marry this guy or die. Yikes. Okay, so just to be clear, Theseus is the duke. And we start off with his love story. Like, he's about to get married to Hippolyta, and this story quickly turns, and now we're not talking about his marriage, which is coming up. We're talking about a different marriage. So Eugeius brings forth Hermia, his daughter, who everybody except Theseus apparently is trying to marry. So she's supposed to be marrying Demetrius. Like these two. Okay, they're supposed to be getting married. But this guy, Lysander, go away, pop up. This guy, Lysander's been bringing her trinkets and candies, and he's been underneath her balcony. By the way, what is it with Shakespeare and balconies? Is that just like, is that something that he made popular, or there are always balconies for like love songs and whatnot? Or is that just, anyway. So Lysander has been wooing Hermia, and Eugeius is mad because he's like, hey, you know, anybody with candies and sweets and flowers can, you know, influence a young child. So he's trying to say, like, well, she's mine, so she has to marry Demetrius, or she's gonna die. That seems a bit harsh. So let me see if I can get all our players off stage here for a second. Okay. So that's Eugeius and his request. So we're back to Theseus. Now Theseus, I guess he's in charge because he gets to make this decision. Okay, so the original text. What say you, Hermia? Be advised, fair maid. To your father should be as a god, one that composed your beauties, yea, and one to whom you are but as a form in wax, by him imprinted, and within his power to leave the figure or disfigure it. Demetrius is a worthy gentleman. So what he's really saying is, and what do you say, Hermia? Take this advice, pretty girl. You should see your father as a god, since he's the one who created your beauty. To him, you're like a figure that he sculpted out of wax, giving him the power to leave it as it is or to destroy it. Demetrius is a good man. Okay, pause here. For you ladies in the audience, I've got to admit, this is starting to bother me, and I'm not a lady. So, in this culture, or at least the one that Shakespeare is writing about, the daughter Hermia belongs like an object to her father Egeus. Okay, he's describing her like she's his to do with whatever he wants because she's his daughter. And then Theseus here confirms that by saying, "You should look up to your father as a god, since he's the one who created your beauty." Now, this also steps over the fact that the mother is like nowhere to be found. Now, okay, maybe the mother has passed on. Maybe the mother isn't even in the play. But this whole dominance thing about like, first of all, the daughter belongs to the father like an object, and it's praising the father like for being the god that created her, totally washing over the fact that there was someone else that had a hand or two in creating her as far as image goes. Um, so, in case you hadn't noticed, and you thought maybe I didn't notice, I did in fact notice. And then he's like, "Hey, Demetrius is a good guy, huh?" Okay, so now Hermia finally gets to put in her two bits. So upon hearing Theseus say, "Well, hey, Demetrius is a good guy," Hermia's like, "Well, so is Lysander." Finally, the translation is the same. So is Lysander. So she gets to say, "Well, so is he." Okay, we'll hide her for a minute. Let's bring back Theseus because they're going to go back and forth. In himself he is, but in this kind, wanting your father's voice, the other must be held the worthier. Yes, he is, but in this situation, because he lacks your father's support, you must consider Demetrius to be better. So back to this male dominance, they're like, you're not smart enough to make up your own mind. Just let us make the decision for you. And Hermia comes back in. "I would my father looked but with my eyes. I wish my father could look at them through my eyes." Okay, so she's trying to convince us that she knows what she wants. Then in comes Theseus again. "Rather your eyes must with his judgment look, instead of your view of them, must be influenced by your father's wishes." So now again, we're telling Hermia, you don't know what you want. We know what you should want. "I do entreat your grace to pardon me. I know not by what power I am made bold, nor how it may concern my modesty, in such a presence here to plead my thoughts. But I beseech your grace, that I may know the worst that may befall me in this case, if I refuse to wed Demetrius. I beg your grace to forgive me. I don't know what is making me bold enough to do this, or even how speaking my thoughts to such an important person as you might harm my reputation for modesty, but I beg you to explain to me the worst thing that could happen to me in this situation if I refuse to marry Demetrius." Okay, so she's saying, "I know who I want to marry, but let's just say I go along with this. Am I really going to get put to death?" Because that's what her father Egeus just said a minute ago. She's like, "You belong to me," and he's asking the Duke, "Hey, listen, if she won't marry the guy that I want her to, I'm just going to have her put to death." And Hermia is just asking for a clarification of the rules. Like, "Hey, could you just confirm or disconfirm that I might die for this guy that I like a lot?" Okay, so we're back to Theseus, who's sort of the guy in charge. "Either to die the death or to abjure forever the society of men. Therefore, fair Hermia, question your desires. Know of your youth, examine well your blood, whether, if you yield not to your father's choice, you can endure the livery of a nun. For I to be in shady cloister mewed, to live a barren sister all your life, chanting faint hymns to the cold, fruitless moon. Thrice blessed, thy that masters so their blood to undergo such maiden pilgrimage, but earthlier happy is the rose distilled than that which, withering on the virgin thorn, grows lives and dies in single blessedness." You'll either be sentenced to death or to never again interact with another man. Therefore, beautiful Hermia, really think about what you want. Think about how young you are and explore your feelings. If you do not give in to your father's wishes, you will be able to tolerate life wearing the robes of a nun, shut up in a dark convent, living your whole life without husband or children, chanting quietly to Diana. Those who can control their passions and remain virgins their whole lives are 3 times as blessed. But a married woman lives happier in this world than a virgin, who achieves the blessing of chastity, but grows, lives, and withers to death as a flower on a stem. Okay, so she has options. So, if you can call it that. Back to Hermia and her response. So I will grow, so live, so die, my lord, ere I will yield my virgin patent up unto his lordship, whose unwished yoke my soul consents not to give sovereignty. That is how I will go. I will grow, live, and die, my lord. I will not give up the ownership of my virginity to my lord father. My soul refuses to let him command me into the yoke of marriage that I do not want. Oh, snap. So she just told Theseus that she is going to defy her father and just be a nun her entire life rather than marry. Where is he? Demetrius. Okay, so this guy, this guy who has not said anything yet, I don't think. Okay, so both Theseus and Egeus are telling Hermia, hey, Demetrius is a good guy. And Hermia is like, yeah, but I'd rather just become a nun than marry him. Or, at first Eugenius is like, you're going to die or marry him. And she's like, yeah, are there any other options? Like, do I have to die? Is there something else I can do? And Theseus is like, well, yeah, I guess you could be a nun the rest of your life. And she's like, yeah, I'll do that. How bad does Demetrius really have to be? And they keep saying he's a good dude, but there's got to be something wrong with him because she's like, yeah, I'll just be a nun forever. It's fine. It's fine. I don't need to have a relationship or kids or go outside or whatever else being a nun means in this time. Oh man, Demetrius. We're back to Theseus, guy in charge, or at least the guy that gets to make all the decisions. I lost this picture. Hang on, sorry, everybody. All right, so here's Theseus. Take time to pause, and by the next new moon, the sealing day betwixt my love and me for everlasting bond of fellowship. Upon that day, either prepare to die for disobedience to your father's will, or else to wed Demetrius as he would, or on Diana's altar to protest for austerity and single life. Take some time to consider, by the next new moon, the day when my beloved and I will be joined in marriage. Be ready either to die for disobeying your father's desires, to marry Demetrius as your father wishes, or else you can go to the temple of Diana and vow to spend the rest of your life as a virgin priestess. Wow. Okay. Oh, finally, Demetrius gets to say something. Oh, please, Demetrius, tell us what you have to say. Relent, sweet Hermia, and Lysander, yield thy crazed title to my certain right. Give in, sweet Hermia, and Lysander, give up your crazy claim to possession of what is mine. Again, referring to Hermia as like an object. Hey, it's like everybody wants the football and like, no, it's mine, no, it's mine, no, it's mine. This football's a person. Okay, Lysander gets to chime in. Here's Loverboy, okay. You have her father's love, Demetrius. Let me have Hermia's. Do you marry him? Do you marry him? Her father loves you, Demetrius. Let me have Hermia, and you can marry him. I like Lysander. He's clever. Okay, let's see what Egeus, the daddy, says. Scornful Lysander, true, he hath my love, and what is mine, my love shall render him, and she is mine, and all my right of her I do estate unto Demetrius. Rude, Lysander. It's true, I do love him, and because I love him, I will give him what is mine. Again, referencing Hermia as a thing. Hermia is mine, and I'm giving my rights to her, to Demetrius. Wow. Back to Lysander, the clever guy. And now he's speaking directly to Theseus, the Duke. I am, my lord, as well derived as he, as well possessed. My love is more than his. My fortunes, every way as fairly ranked, if not with vantage, as Demetrius. And which is more than all these boasts can be, I am beloved of beauteous Hermia. Why should not I, then, prosecute my right? Demetrius, I'll avouch, is to his head mad love in Nidra's daughter Helena, and won her soul, and she, sweet lady, devoutly dotes in idolatry, upon this spotted and inconstant man. My lord, I'm as noble as Demetrius, and as rich. I love Hermia more than he does. My prospects are in every way as good as Demetrius, if not better, and more importantly than all those things I just boasted about, beautiful Hermia loves me. Why shouldn't I be able to pursue my rights, marry her, Demetrius, and I'll declare this to his face, wooed Nedra's daughter, Helena, and won her love. Now Helena, that sweet lady, obsesses over this stained and unfaithful man, idolizing him as if he were a god. Oh, no, you didn't. Okay, so now Lysander's saying, hey, I'm just as good as this guy. And by the way, just so you know before you make any decisions there, Theseus, he's already got someone in love with him, and he's wooed her, so why should my girl be forced to marry him? Let's see what Theseus responds with. I must confess that I have heard so much, and when Demetrius thought to have spoke thereof, but being over full of self-affairs, my mind did lose it. But Demetrius, come, Eugeius, you shall go with me. I have some private schooling for you both. For you, fair Hermia, look your arm you arm yourself to fit your fancies to your father's will, or else the law of Athens yields you up, which by no means we make extenuate to death or to vow of single life. Come, my Hippolyta, what cheer, my love? Demetrius and Eugeius, go long. I must employ you in some business against our nuptial, and confer with you of something nearly that concerns yourselves. Okay. I must admit I've heard that too, and meant to speak about it to Demetrius, but because I was too busy with my own concerns, forget but because I was too busy with my own concerns, I forget about it. But now, Demetrius and Eugeius, come with me. I have some advice for you both that I want to give you in private. As for you, beautiful Hermia, prepare yourself to shape your desires to match what your father wants, or else the law of Athens, which I can't modify or lessen in any way, demands that you either die or take a vow of chastity and never marry. Come along, Hippolyta. How are you, my love? Demetrius and Eugeius, come with us. I have some work I need you to do regarding our wedding, and there's something that concerns the two of you that I want to discuss. All right, well, I think I'm going to stop here. It's been about half an hour of reading. That's my Shakespeare for the day, I suppose. So just to recap, the whole thing starts with these two. Theseus and Hippolyta, they're getting ready to get married, and they're all like, oh, 4 days, 4 days, 4 days. Okay. And then quickly, the plot turns, and we're not going to talk about them for like almost the rest of the entire way. Hippolyta is almost out of it. Like, she's standing there, but no speaking parts. So then in comes Eugeius, and Eugeius has a bit of a problem. See, he has a daughter, Hermia, And Hermia is supposed to marry Demetrius. Getting their names on the screen is becoming a little more challenging. Okay. So she's supposed to marry Demetrius. Let me put him down here. The problem is, she doesn't want to marry Demetrius. She wants to marry Lysander. Which I can understand. He seems pretty cool, pretty clever. Now, Theseus is sort of in charge, so he has to make a decision. Because Eugeus here is throwing down the law saying, well, hey, listen, if she will not marry the guy I want her to marry, then she's got to die. And Theseus is like, yeah, that is the law, and I can't change it. So listen, Hermia, if I had any advice, I would tell you to just go ahead and marry Demetrius and do what your father wants. Because otherwise, you've only got two options. You can either die, that's option A, and option B is you have to go live in a nunnery and just never have children, never have a family, and that's your call. And then he gives her a due date. He has a time limit. You must decide by the first new moon, which is the day after I'm getting married, to my girl back here, Hippolyta. An overarching theme is that men dominate this culture. Wow. They're telling the girls what to do, telling them what to think, telling them that they're wrong, that the guys are right. But yeah. So let me make a mental note. I ended. I'm not even sure. Like I might be a page away from the end of the act or the scene or whatever. But I stopped on page or lines 125. So that would be the first Act 1, Scene 1 recording of Midsummer Night's Dream. And that's a math teacher reading Shakespeare. So see you next time. Bye.